Good morning, everyone. This is Tara Lee Live, and it is a happy Saturday out there. How are you all? We are live. I'm here with my awesome co-host, Drake. Good morning, Drake. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Happy to be here as always. Pretty exhausted from this week. Been ripping around and helping people move and trying to keep the garden under control, but it's good overall. So happy to come in session, talk about it.
Boy, is it not like busy season right now? I know everybody else is out there busy. Holy cow. I am ready to get this freaking Saturday morning off because I haven't even dabbed yet. I'm ready to dab. What am I going to go in on?
Good question. What you got?
I think I want some cold cure this morning. We're going to go in on, this is that missing gold.
Missing gold now.
There we go.
Missing grape, missing gold, missing all of it.
Beta-myrcene, D-limonene, beta-caryophyllene, linalool, alpha-humulene. And there is what it looks like. There we go. This one isn't actually cold cure. This one looks a little bit more stuff. No, wait, is this? Oh, this is the batter. This one isn't cold cure. That's why I'm like, wait, that's not cold cure. This is batter. It's not cold cure. Welcome, welcome. Hello, Red River. Gromy's in the house. Supreme Grape. Matt, how are you? Welcome, welcome. I am ready for a dab. Y'all gonna hit it with us this morning? Time to wake the bake on this amazing Saturday morning. Hope you all are out there having a healthy, happy day. What are y'all smoking on?
I'm going to jump in on some Mac Lime.
What's it called?
Mac Lime.
Mac Lime. Okay.
Yeah, Capulator's Mac, and then hit with some, I think black. Well, I'm not sure.
It actually tastes lime?
So up front, it smells kind of like, like heavy, fuely, gassy, that kind of dank. Some like a little earth in it, but mainly that like, spicy end that comes with, say, shouldn't even say spicy, more of like the like garlic spice, garlic twang up front. So you're thinking you're going to jump into something that's more like kind of GMO-esque, which is kind of weird with a Mac lime combo, but that's what it comes off up front. But then as soon as you dab it on the palate, it's instantly that lime, which is really peculiar because you can kind of just barely pick it out. Like there's just a hint of that zest, that limey kind of piney profile. And then once you dab it, it just stays on your palate.
Awesome. Sounds good. Good morning, Tom. Octo Tom, Wi-Fi cake. That sounds good, Octo Tom.
Nice. All right, heating up, going in.
I'd say anything with those cakes is a good hashi plant, don't you think? All those cake strains are pretty like the Swedish kind of.
I like the profiles on them. I haven't done a ton of work with a bunch of different ones, so I'm not sure if the returns are always right up top. But yeah, I think overall pretty solid for sure. Trying to think, do I have any cakes outside? I think I've got an ice cream cake super lemon haze, one of them outside, so maybe I'll process that this fall and see how it goes. Don't think we have any other cakes going right now.
Seems like wedding cake seems to be one of the big names.
Yeah, I've like the wedding cakes we've got and the ice cream cakes, either one, which you'd figure would be like kind of fucking more like a bakery style just from the name.
Not
No, I've
oh really?
No, and again, this is probably without being too more like some kind of polyhybrid outcomes. But I would imagine there's certain phenos that maybe have a lot more of that kind of sweetness, that dough to them, that early morning bakery, a little bit of that cake vibe. I believe wedding cake was named just by people puffing it. So it's got to, other than psychosmatics, it's got to be pretty cake-esque. But if it's just some random polyhybrid and some other random polyhybrid, well, then you might have, 10 plus phenos, essentially, that you have to weasel through. So if you're only getting a 10-pack, you may only get 2 or 3 different phenos. And so either way, things could be mislabeled, you never know. But from my experience with quite a few different cakes, they've all been like really heavy, like put you back in your seat and more of a fuely heavy earth profile than anything like citrusy or cakey or light and sweet. I don't really obtain too much of that from it.
Red Bear says he just had a 400 milliliter capsule and a half a cap microdose. Nice. Red's going to be having a happy Saturday. That's hilarious. I love it. Oh, we got a question coming in from Dan, the indoor man. Dan says, hey guys, can I ask about light leaks outdoors? Should you use your flash in the garden to take pics? Honestly, light leaks, like a flash, like you're taking a picture of a flash, that's not going to be a problem. Even indoors, a flash, just like a quick flash, shouldn't be one problem. You're only going to do it one time. I think it's when the timing gets messed up on a consistent basis and the light's like super bright or brighter of some sort. But I have heard of like small leaks indoors, putting them out. That being said, outdoors, the sun is a whole different animal, right? So I was worried about like our porch light being on or our backdoor porch light being on, causing my plants not to go in flower. I haven't noticed a problem. Last year, I had no problem with it. This year, I'm not noticing a difference. I did, however, turn our really big outdoor light off. We have like a big shop light that I did decide to turn off to see if it would make any difference. I don't know. What do you think, Drake?
I pretty much agree with exactly what you said. Indoors, it's always best to be as anal as possible, just because sometimes you get those instances where very minor, like say a light from your mini split or a light from your Andon or your Quest or something along those lines, or one of the devices that have a pretty bright light on them. And if you don't tape it off, you can have issues in that side of the room. And it's been shown, many a time. Outdoors, like you said, it's a whole nother beast. The moon fucking comes in full generally, once a month or like we're talking, we get a nice bright moon. And the plants are used to dealing with that. And the sun itself is so powerful that the amount of, go ahead, Tara.
What exactly what you're saying though? The moon. You're hitting on the moon.
Yeah, right.
Right.
And the sun's so
one thing, but what I was thinking is, what I'd like to do is talk to someone that's in Alaska. Because that 24-hour light, they have to light depth, right?
So again, I think it's I'm not super.
I didn't even think about that.
Exact terms, but it's for a small period of the season where there's actually 24 hours of light. It's still not as, to my understanding, again, I could be totally wrong, but I'm pretty certain.
I'll have to ask somebody. I don't actually know.
So, and then the season starts to end really short too, and then you start to get a lot more darkness coming up really quick, and that's why most of the plants, no matter what the plant out there, is some form of, let's call it an auto flowering plant, a plant that's going to self finish very quickly, and it's just done that over the years, millennia, however long, to acclimate that environment. So that's where we get more auto flowers, and then it's like, and it doesn't matter if you have a light leak or not, because the plant is indeterminate. You could run it on 24-hour light and it's still going to flower due to reasons like that. The sun being super powerful was my one little point there, though. The sun's super powerful, so during the day it gets so much, let's just say lumens, for lack of a better term. It gets so much from the sun that when nighttime comes around, even when the moon comes out in a nice full moon and it's actually pretty bright out there, it's such a significant decrease. The plants are still acknowledging they're sleeping, and the light's completely different. You're not by any means getting the same light and same spectrum from the moon as you are from the sun. Porch lights, a lot of people are really worried. They got neighbors. Even some people have neighbors that are just rude and doing it intentional, turn lights on.
Well, and even if you're growing in town, you have those big street lights.
Usually you're good to go. Yeah, I'm not gonna
say. Sammy says, Sizzy, that's a good one. I have light leaks in my tent, and he says he's never had any issues. And then Dan, the indoor man, says, my indoor got screwed because of a tiny LED, and I had an argument with that. You shouldn't risk it.
I imagine something either turned on when it wasn't supposed to, failed completely when it wasn't supposed to, but I would have to imagine something was just on. So gotta be careful there. Sammy, I want to keep. I would be inclined to believe. I know Sammy's got some pretty good genetics bumping. That's a big elephant in the room.
Yes.
Lots of cultivars can take a lot of abuse and not show necessarily negative effects like visual, like if you were doing like maybe really high level testing, you might be able to see, minute differences. But for the most part, the average bird ain't going to be able to tell the difference. Then there's a lot of stuff that hasn't been worked so much. And this stuff, you got to be careful how you look at the plant. You look at the plant wrong and she'll herm out or get a deficiency or there's just different plants with different needs, different requirements and different time that were initially put into them to get them to where they are. So sourcing genetics is huge, 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 huge. If you can get yourself some banging gear, not just some random hype stuff, but actually like from a breeder that's reputable, that you can listen to, that can go back, that's been working years on single cultivars, so on and so forth, you're going to have really good results overall.
So Tom says best to take flash photos just after or before your lights go on. So I would think, first of all, when you're going to take a picture of your plant, you would want it praying, right? You're going to want it looking the best if you're going to take pictures. Everybody wants your plants to look the best, right? Just like you want yourself to look the best if you're going to take a picture. So don't they look the best kind of first thing in the morning or right when the light goes on? They're kind of really praying. Isn't that kind of the best time? So I would think that you'd want to take them when the lights are on. So I don't know why the dark thing. That's why I'm curious about the dark thing.
Hue, they skew your pictures really horribly, as we know so well. You can't.
Oh, the hue and the room.
Now,
I get it.
I've seen people getting crafty. Like you can get your method 7s and put them in front of your phone and take a picture, and like that helps sometimes. There's actually filters now, and there's different companies that are doing things. But yeah, generally it's because you get that really like orangey or blurple picture going on, depending what your lights are, and it's not a good representation of what you want to show.
Okay. Well, I would recommend getting some really nice photo lights then, and take a photo light in there, and then just turn off your big lights for a few seconds while you got to take photos. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but you have to have good genetics. Just exactly what Drake said. Let's not forget about that.
And if you're doing it in that sense and you don't have any other options, I mean, you always can turn off your lights during the on cycle for just a quick second to take a picture. And then you're not necessarily disturbing the sleep cycle. But then if you're going to disturb the sleep cycle, I kind of agree with that last statement there. Yeah, either close to when the lights turn off or close when they turn on, so that you're not really adultering their cycle. Because once the lights turn off, it's like between half an hour and a couple hours, the stomata actually close up. And then same thing once they turn on, or maybe even prior to a little bit. I'm not sure how the plants work. Metabolically, they're pretty smart. So if they're on a schedule for a long time, the plants kind of know when the lights turn on. And again, rabbit holing, but with one of these meters I got, we can see this, and it's super cool because we've been really anal with my CO2, and we can see my lights turn on lately around 7 a.m. our time, and we can see about 6 to 6:30 a.m. is when the plants start really taking in some CO2. That's when my levels start to drop. It's not right after the lights turn on, it's right before and as they turn on, and then continuing. And that's when the plants start to photosynthesize and start doing all the process, eating up the CO2. But that just shows that they're smart little guys and girls, depending on what you're growing. They know what's going on, right? So I think that's really, really fascinating as well.
Yeah, I like that. Great.
Sorry for the
awesome, Drake. You're awesome, Drake. Hello, Elka. Awesome, welcome to the show. Nice to see you.
Chad is awesome.
By the way, Elka has agreed to come on for a interview. So Elka, we'll be having Elka soon, y'all. Stu, good morning. How are you? Mike Denver says, hello, Mike, how are you? He says, seed plants are more prone to light leaks versus clones. This is because they are still establishing hormones. Clones have time to acclimate to the indoor. That's a good point. Very good point.
And that's if you take gear that's from, say, a standard salt grown hydroponic system, and that's what the breeders worked with for a long time, and say it's something crazy like a breeder that works on 24 hours of light for their veg, and then you take that and you run that into your living soil system under, say, LEDs in a conventional time, or maybe even you do a little light on the lights, maybe an hour less than the conventional time frame. Sometimes those plants, and I want to key in again, especially ones that haven't been worked very thoroughly in the past, will be the ones that are the problem plants. And there's a lot of people that firsthand say, look, it took 2-3 runs before these plants really took off. And I'm doing the same thing. For the last 20 years, I'm doing the same thing. They're like, I'm not changing variables. My room's the same, but and I have a couple, it's a lot of the OGs, usually the older folks, and the same thing. won't even touch seeds. They don't want seeds. They just clones, because I need clones that were in an environment similar to mine, and that's how they work the best. And I don't disagree with it. But I think a lot of it's been, unfortunately, just bad genetics, and a lot of people have got a bad taste in their mouth for seeds. So like if you run, stable seeds, you're not really gonna have too many issues. So I think it was the actual Skunk One, the first project that Dave did, like that Skunk Man did. I can't remember what it was, but it was, I think it was in like over 90% or high 80s for uniformity. It was a very, very worked line. You put a lot into it. So it's like if you pop 100 seeds, you should get a high 80 to 90 that are the exact same, essentially, plants. And I believe from a few friends of ours that are growing them out in smaller numbers, so a little bit skewed. The only difference we're really seeing is there's a little bit stockier pheno and a little bit taller of a pheno. And that's kind of the only difference. And it's very minor numbers, right? Like it's kind of like coexisting. But then like with Skunk One, there was a couple projects done and people wanted it sweeter. So we had to go back and work it a bit sweeter. So the plot thickens. But anyways, what we're saying is if you get super, super reliable gear that's been worked really, really long time, and it's been like if the breeder ran it in salt and ran it in organic and ran it light deprived and ran it with too much light and ran it under and overfed and all the fun shit you're supposed to do with breeding, that plant's going to be able to handle all of those conditions pretty easily. So there's that side of it as well. I'm such a hands talker. I spilled my coffee a little bit.
I am too, Drake. I have to move my coffee up there.
Well, that's what I was just telling you. Yeah. Go ahead. What do we got here?
I'm going in. I want orange. I'm feeling like some oranges this morning.
Orange.
This orange cake is amazing. Beta caryophyllene, D-limonene, linalool. I love that linalool. Beta myrcene, alpha humulene. There you go. Here, this one's the cold cure, so you guys can see the difference. That's the cold cure. Now, I'll have to say that I believe the cold cure is a lot more smoother on my throat.
Is this product from the same companies by chance?
Same company, all from the same company.
Okay, so that is a good representation.
All from the same company, processed the same way. It's not processed the same way because one's the batter, so and one's more the cold cure they're calling it. So are they? I don't know what they're doing. I actually haven't talked to this company.
It could well. There's lots of different things. I'm not saying that they're doing this or so on and so forth, but there's when you produce, say, bubble or your hash rosin or whatever you're making, there's a lot of different ways to skin the cat. And when you make it, say you go through, however you get there, you've got now bubble hash that you're pressing. You can press it at different temperatures, at different time durations, and different methods. You can press it into parchment. You can press it into a jar. You can press it onto your car. You can press it in a bar. You can do all sorts of different stuff if you wanted to, essentially, right? You can press it wherever you want. And you can then adulterate many different ways. You can whip it real good if you want, or you can just let it sit. You can put it under pressure. You know, again, so many different ways to do stuff. And it all correlates to kind of different end outcomes, but very similar. Similar profiles, but sometimes it seems a little more terpy. Sometimes it's whipped up and fluffy and battery. Other times it's saucy and you've got, you know, separation happening and you've got caviar, you got the rocks or whatever. It can all be the exact same product. It's just what their specific clients like the most and what they can utilize the best. So short story made long as always. You can just like that could be the same run from the same everything, except it's just been slightly adulterated different. They might take some and whip it. And that could literally be because it just is another market. So instead of just having my caviar, well, now I've got caviar and butter and the same name. And most people
same name.
But it's the exact same. It's just one maybe you whipped for a while, or you threw into a vac oven for longer, or you put under pressure. You know, there's just so many different ways to adulterate. So
be able to have same thing and offer more SKUs.
So then having the patient yourself trying it and say, okay, I like this one more, it benefits me better, is super cool, right? Because then we're able to kind of to use your sniffer, like, you know, and then figure out which one was the best. That looked like a good one. I'm gonna have to load up again. I'm getting jealous over here, but I don't have any orange cake. I like orange. I like cake, so I'm pretty jealous. Actually, I think I have an ice cream cake around. I have to check. I don't know. Maybe not.
OMG, I'm trying to recover. I took that one a little warmer, which I think when you take orange a little warmer, it's kind of be a little harsher on the throat.
It definitely changes from from that super, I know it depends the kind of orange you got, but it changes from that kind of sweet, nice orange to a bit more of like a stinging orange, if you don't want to say it. Like you know, like you said, just that caustic. The heat really steps it up.
Damn, having a hard time recovering. Oh, we got old smoke in the house. Hello, bless up to you as well. Hello, JC Smith. Good morning. God, I love seeing you all showing up this morning. Someone said this is where the cool kids hang out. Hell yeah, love it. So I think I'm gonna throw the link out in chat if anybody wants to join. How about that?
Show you grow, come have some reps, hang out, talk about.
Yeah, anybody want to come take a rip with us? We're gonna throw that link out there.
Please do.
Anybody wants to come hang out? We had a guest that was supposed to come on, and I didn't confirm, so it could be my fault. And so he didn't come this morning on. So we're gonna try and reschedule that guest. And we have some other guests that are going to be coming on. Elka, like I said, is in chat. We're going to get that one scheduled. Anybody else that's in chat that would like to be a guest on our show and come spend the hour or two with us, we would definitely love to have you. And if you have anybody else out there that you think we should get on the show that or would like on, let me know.
And on that same note, I believe we're also going to be incorporating quite a few of the lovely gentlemen and gentlewomen from the NW47 server over there at Lemon Hokos. There's a lot of awesome individuals. They got a ton of knowledge. Two dogs seeds recently went on Eagle Gardens, and it was an awesome show. He's just chocked filled with information. And
yeah, Two Dogs says he's going to come on here too.
Yeah,
that's right.
Bring him on here, and if you haven't seen that, you can see him here. You should go and watch it first, anyways, just because it's good, and the more information, the merrier. And this is one of the guys where you're probably going to have to listen to it a couple times if you're really interested, anyways, because he's I love it. And it's the same thing. He's doing quite a few things, not necessarily rooted in one manner, but he's got a nice little lab, let's call it, for his ferments and for his, he's got different Jadam and natural farming preparations that he incorporates and uses, and just his understanding and overall knowledge of the sector is fantastic. So, and then about the cultivars too, like this it's really cool. I love just sitting back and listening about the history of some of these different cultivars, because we hear a lot as patients and as activists and people that are just following the industry, but some of these individuals and breeders who have really been right in the middle of it have quite different stories than what we thought we've heard. So it's super cool. Again, sort of rambling on, but really excited to have some of those conversations coming down the line.
Yes, definitely. Definitely get on over to these Discords, you guys. If you don't have a Discord and it scares you, or there's you want help with it, contact one of us. We'll definitely walk you through it. I'm still learning Discord myself. It is really weird at first if you're not a gamer and you've never done it and you're new to tech. It's really quite weird. Also, I'd recommend downloading Zoom. Zoom's another amazing platform out there to spend time with people and hang out and sesh. That's what we use here. So if you're going to be coming on with us as a guest, or if you want to come and hang out with us, you have to have Zoom downloaded. And there was an update, and I didn't update this morning. So we're lucky the show's going through right now. Knock on wood. Shit, maybe I shouldn't have said nothing. And
to key in on that too, I believe you don't actually, just to so we're not scaring anyone off, you don't actually need to have Zoom downloaded. Like if you click on our link right now, they'll just get forwarded to a browser that will open it up as well, correct? Or will they have to download Zoom? I don't quite remember. My apologies.
On your phone, I think you have to have the app.
Oh, that's how it is. But then on the computer,
on the phone, I think so, but I don't think on your computer you do. But they have an update. I don't like to say things after updates.
Yeah, we never know. It changes on the fly. But yeah, you should just be able to click on the link, and if anything, it might just say, download Zoom. But come join us, come chat, and any level, any size, we're interested in it all.
I thought someone wrote "Hi Superman" for a second in chat, and I was like, "Superman? Who? Did someone come in as Superman?"
Wow, our chat's really bumping. We got Superman that showed
up. Yeah, we have Superman in chat. Woohoo! Who's got the
folks.
kryptonite? Don't bring out the kryptonite.
No,
isn't there a cultivar called kryptonite?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Raider Dank Vader. Oh, that's a cool name. That's almost gives me a tongue twister though. Hey Dab, hello, welcome. How are you? Cheers. Looks like Drake's gonna go in on another one up there. I'm ready for another one. After I've just finally my throat calmed down after that orange dab. I took that one a little hot. I guess me should get that Puffco Peak, and I wouldn't have to worry about taking this off. You know what? I don't know. I think I probably would still use a banger, but I don't know. Red River uses his all the time.
Yeah, so my my good buddy was over again. He recently got a peak. I told him, go for it. So we have, like, again, you mentioned our other friend who was loving it and been using it for years and knows what's up. So anyways, he ended up getting it. He was lucky. He got the fancy white one with the little quartz thing. They're pretty cool. They're like the new ones are super. They check off lots of the heady requirements. They charge wirelessly, which is pretty cool. All the color schemes that you can do. You have it's kind of like your lights here. You can play with your rig, and that's all that fancy fun stuff. But what's the brass tacks of it? He's doing his his temperature is set at kind of one of the higher recommended levels for not ever risking chazzing your bowl at all or whatever. I don't want to call it necessarily a banger, but your strap, whatever it is.
Right.
So I believe he said he was at 5. Oh my goodness, I'll have to ask him. 540, let's say, somewhere right around there. I think a little bit lower, honestly, maybe even in the 530 Fahrenheit range. And with that, it's about 15 dabs. You get about 15 dabs in you before the rig shuts off. So for any sort of travel purposes, or even just
that's a lot at that high of a temp.
We're talking small dabs, Tara. And everyone out there, don't get me wrong. Like a dab like this.
Yeah, but you have to use small. You have to. Okay, but first of all, for any of these rigs, any battery operated rig has to be small dabs. Do not think you're going in there and loading that banger like a banger. A period. So don't fuck up people's rig by doing that. By the way.
Totally. That's a great point. And they did address that with the new peak as well. So I believe you can get a little bit larger of a dab without having the issues you were having with the original one. But yeah, it's great. You get about 15 dabs. It only takes an hour to heat. You can charge it wirelessly, all the fun colors and nice little case that goes with it. But I see we've got someone joining us here, just connecting to audio.
Yeah, we'll give him.
We have got, Mike, I'm excited.
Just a minute.
Yep. So once
we'll give him just a minute
on the back end, we'll get going.
Yeah. Red River says 490 to 530.
There we go. So so 530 was probably the highest. All right, we can see you, but no hear you.
See him.
And this is part of. Ooh. So there we go.
Maybe we're just gonna spotlight him.
Yeah, we'll get a little tour here. So we cannot hear, but we can see. And this is part of the fun, the turmoils of joining in with Zoom sometime.
Can't hear you.
But we can see a beautiful garden. And it looks like
he probably doesn't know the connect thing on the phone. So on the phone, it says join by call or join by Wi-Fi. And you got to click that join by Wi-Fi, I think, isn't it?
You can join by call.
Call. You can? Can't hear you.
So we'll have to see. I sent a little message when you
Can
send
you see that?
Pops up. I doubt it. That's one of the things with Zooms. If you're not super familiar with it, it's a little bit of a pain in the butt. But I think.
Okay, I think he said goodbye.
Okay. This will work though, because then he'll come back on and then we can just go over verbally. I was about to go and get a piece of paper
that was cool.
and write down and show him, just so we could mime put the cards out, like, we cannot hear you, bottom left. Yeah. That's too funny. But those were tomatoes, it looked like, correct?
Yeah, you big tomato.
Big ass tomatoes
inside there. Yeah.
My
tomatoes are finally coming on. I got a whole bunch of yellow ones. I've got potatoes out there I got to go harvest. I have so much stuff I've got to do in the garden today, you guys. Yesterday we went out rock hounding. Anybody like to rock hound? You guys like to rock hound? If anybody likes to rock hound in my chat, I will go live next time I'm out rock hounding and find something cool. We were out finding it's called rose quartz. It's really popular.
Oh, that's really pretty.
Just not too far from us, like 30 minutes or so. And I just loved going out, just being out in the wild, just out where no one is. This is a 3-day weekend here. And we were literally out in yesterday driving out, and there was literally no one around us. I live in an amazing area, and I am so lucky to live where I live. I just have to say, I really want to tell everybody that today that I really appreciate where I live. And I really want to start showing that with you guys more. I want to go out, and when I'm out on doing these things, I really want to show you guys like some amazing, like I'm seeing some amazing views, and I take pictures, they do okay. They're just not the same, but Alive isn't the same either. They don't do it justice, but at least I could take you guys with me. So I was kind of thinking about doing that. If you guys are interested in that, leave a comment down below or let me know. I would definitely like to know. Did I miss anything in chat? Go ahead, Drake.
So I was just about to say, we've got Mike back. I did already acknowledge in chat because he said, sorry, I couldn't connect to audio. And I said, thank you. It's okay. We could obviously see you, and we spotlighted and saw your awesome garden. You said there's some tomatoes and no ganja this year, but those tomatoes are looking pretty crazy, 7 foot tall, at least for sure. And quickly, just while we've got you, because I'm imagining you're listening now, when you join in on your phone, it should be on the bottom left or bottom right. When you click on it, when you first join, it'll say something weird like join with by phone call or by Wi-Fi, and you can just click in join by phone call if you're on your phone. It's an odd option, but if it's just the bottom left and you click that and you join it, and it should.
Are you sure it's not by Wi-Fi?
You know what? We can just do.
I think it's joined by Wi-Fi.
Well, let's just find out.
That's
why I'm doing the exact same thing.
Here, let's watch us join the phone. Let's watch us join our own conversation. Here we go. Here we go. I was just listening to Drake. Here we go. Joining in. Here we go.
How many phones we get joining? And then sometimes it'll ask you for a passcode. Sometimes it will not.
It says, okay, there it goes. At the very top, it says Wi-Fi or cellular data. That's what you have to click.
What's it look like? Does it show you?
Yeah. Here. Okay, wait. Leave meeting. Got it. Oh, at first it tells you that it's being recorded because I'm live. And there you go. It tells you join by Wi-Fi or calling data or dial in. You have to do the Wi-Fi or cellular data if you're calling on Zoom. So there you go. That's it. Now we know.
Beautiful. That's awesome. Well, there we go. We figured it out. So anyone that wants to join now, hopefully we have troubleshooted the cell phone.
And now you can spotlight us because now I have mine here.
Yeah. Another thing with Zoom, if there's only 2 of us, it doesn't let us spotlight. But so we add in one extra and we work around it because sometimes it's tough. Like
we got you, Zoom. We figured it out.
Well, hell, if I want to tell Tara how great the backyard looks, well, she's showing us and I'm the one talking, you're going to be looking at me while I'm watching it. Remember? Uh-oh.
Yeah, we remember that. Oh my God, that was so funny.
Too funny.
Oh my God.
Nice and medicated in the morning for that one.
Sammy says, y'all have iPhones or something? Mine says none of that. No, I don't have an iPhone.
I am interested, Sammy, as to what yours says. So we'll have
Sammy, join. You join really quick, Sammy, and tell me what it says. You don't have to join, but you join and let me see what yours says. It says that right at the bottom. Before you click join, how you join it. That's how you have to do it. Or you can't hear. I swear. Oh, Mike Denver's
let's find out.
Let's see. He's coming back.
We'll see if our tutorial was good or bad. Proof of concept right away.
Proof. Here we go.
Let's see if we got our fingers crossed. Oh, hello, Mike. How are you doing?
Did it work?
I'm good. Can you guys hear me?
We certainly can.
All right. Cool. Yeah,
we got you spotlighted too. There you go, Mike.
Cool. So yeah, I'm just here in the greenhouse, just watering the tomatoes, watching some Tara Lee live. It's always a pleasure having you on. So yeah, I'm just doing the daily chores. Nice. Thought I would jump in here, show you the tomatoes. I got a bunch of these. You see these yellow ones coming on?
Yeah.
These are the yellow taxi cabs. These are one of my favorites. They're like super sweet.
I love the yellow ones. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have done some good ganja in here before, but just kind of laying low this year with the ganja. And it's a little hard in Denver. There's some kind of strict rules. There's some people who have gotten in trouble doing but yeah, so I just go with it. Yeah, I just wanted to show you the setup here real quick. This is just a little like kind of a cheapo greenhouse. Honestly, it's just like from a garden center out here. It's like $100, but it does really nice. And yeah, it's like it's got nice vents on the side, and it's got these like mesh doors on both sides.
Okay, I do have to say though, if you're in an area that is high winds, make sure you freaking get those things like way, secured. Because I had a greenhouse that was like similar to that one, not a hoop house. Mine was a little bit different than that, and it was way too
Turned
big.
into a kite.
And it took, it destroyed half of it. Like it ripped it, and like, it was sucky.
Oh, that's
yeah.
Yeah,
But that's awesome, Mike.
For sure, yeah. Luckily, it's not too windy out here, but I got like, I want to say like 6 cinder blocks holding it down, and then I got it I got some rebar that I drive down into the ground, and kind of, you can't really see it very well, but this wire here goes down into the ground and goes into some rebar that I put way down in there. So I'm hoping it does okay. Sometimes we do get some.
Sure. No, it looks awesome. And I mean, you're definitely not short note on the tomatoes this season nonetheless, right? Those look awesome. And then just for your peace of mind or for know-how, you're coming in really well overall. When you move around a decent amount as you're talking, you're cutting out a tiny bit, but we're pretty much getting your vocal the whole way through. But just it's like kind of a ridiculous slow motion when you're moving to keep the screen good. But you're pretty well killing it so far, man.
Cool. Yeah. And I just kind of wanted to share this tip here. If anyone's looking to ventilate their hoop house or anything for cheap, this is just a solar attic fan that I got at the hardware store. And so, yeah, it does really good. I think it's rated for like, I think it was 800 cubic feet.
Wow.
For this fan. So yeah, it moves
nice.
the air.
I love that tip. I need one.
That's double of the average 6-inch can fan for anyone out there. Those are usually like 400, 490 CFM. So that's and what was the price roughly on that?
I want it was a decent amount. I want to say it was like 150 or something like that from the hardware store, but it's I've had it for a couple years now, and it's like, I don't know, you can see it here. It's like it's pretty big.
150 is not bad, dude. That's
like cheaper than a 6-inch can fan.
Yeah.
Especially for solar.
Yeah, solar. Jeez. That's awesome. Yeah, I want one. I'm gonna be checking that out. Cool.
Cheers, Sammy.
Hey, Sammy, welcome.
And I just
Howdy.
Yeah, no, that's an awesome. Thank you so much for coming and showing us your little greenhouse here. And it seems like it's rather affordable too, and looks awesome. So that's great. That's what we're all about.
I lost the video. Where'd you go, Mike?
Little too much movement. Oh, there he's back.
Oh, there he is. Let me spotlight you again. Are you still showing? Let me go back. There we go.
Yeah, so that's my little greenhouse. Just wanted to show you all real quick.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And thank you, because this is what it's all about, right? We just want to talk with especially everyone in the chat, because you're all so freaking awesome. We want to see what you got going on.
Anybody that exactly great, like anybody that has a garden, anybody that wants to show their glass, anybody that just wants to come on and say hi to the cannabis community, like
socialize.
Yeah,
exactly. Just trying to build the community.
Hi, Sammy says, what's up? Puffing on that awesome Puffco that they don't have in stock anymore. I was too late on the draw.
I ordered mine day one.
I don't blame you. I shouldn't have farted around. I do that. I've been really bad about that kind of stuff lately. Just really like nonchalant, like, yeah, just wait till the last minute for shit. And sometimes things works out and sometimes they don't.
I'm curious, Sammy, two things, I suppose. First, does it sound about right if you're around 530 to be able to get 15 dabs? Is that pretty even with your unit as well? Or what are you finding for numbers? Do you run it dry? What do you do?
I think that's low, to be honest with you.
Cool.
I probably get closer to 20, 25, 30.
Beautiful. That's a great answer. I love to hear that. And then
How hot do you have yours set though? That was like the hottest or hotter setting, wasn't that, Drake? Or I don't know how. So how hot does it go, Sammy?
I put mine on I still use the original 4 settings. So like the green, which is the second setting, is around 500, and I'll hit my dabs 1 or 2 times first on that, and then I'll start going up to the whatever the highest setting I think is. I don't even think it's 700. I think 650 is the highest.
Yeah, it gets right up there. That temperature, Tara, was just the parameters given for if you're trying to completely not chaz your shit every single time or leave any residue, and you don't want to, put too much mitigation processes, and you just want to clean it out with a Q-tip after and keep it spanking new every single time, and save the terps. And oh, look at that, beautiful. What do we have here?
So this is Bubbleberry.
Nice.
I like the name.
Bubbleberry.
That's cute. I like it.
Little fatso there, and I like the form on it.
Yeah, it's kind of got a good blend of both parents. It's got a really like acrid berry smell with just a little hint of bubblegum on the back end. So it's pretty nice. I like this one.
On like the last bit of bulking, you can see it like it's like doing that nice sort of foxtail-esque vibe, but still just super thick and tight at the same page. And like, anything that goes real foxtail like that, there's people that have different opinions on it, but hash makers love it because it's so open and airy. Those heads are just able to fall out all over. And then lots of times, like especially in some of these systems we're seeing now, when you get it super foxtail like that, it's still thick, dense bud, but just the exterior of it has all those crazy little like nodes and offshoots. And
yeah, she's a foxy lady. I think she gets that from the blueberry side. It kind of like almost doesn't want to finish. It keeps stacking and stacking, and it'll get really foxtaily if you let it go, or
like ready to finish, and then one of the foxtails just sends out more hairs, and you're like, okay, I guess.
Yeah. It's one of those, and it does. This was from a summer grow, so it does tend to do that a little bit more in the heat of the summer. But yeah, it's a really good strain. We're actually kind of moving on from it, but yeah, it's a really tasty one. And I got some. This is Dominion Skunk here from.
I say that looks pretty neat. Looks
it's always hard to get blood shots, but this one's.
The structure alone was a pretty big giveaway.
Yeah, these things are solid. This thing is like a rock.
So to get a better picture on it, you actually need like a little bit of light in front of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say back up behind you.
Back up.
Fan light.
Yeah, back behind your light. There you go. And then, yeah, there you go. That's better. Perfect. Now let me spotlight you a little bit more so you can see what you're doing. Hello. Duh.
Hello.
There we go.
Hey,
There. Now you can see the color a little bit better. Nice.
that looks good.
Well, thanks for coming in, Ned. Mike. Why did I call you Ned? Isn't there a Ned Denver?
Is there a Ned?
too?
There's a Ned Denver
Ned
too.
too. Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, that just sounded too easy. Okay, Mike. Yeah, I was just calling you Mike, never Denver. That's why.
Yeah, that's my brother.
Ned, he is.
Oh,
my
it is
God.
really?
My brother from another mother.
Okay, I'm like, okay, what? He's your brother? You got me on that one. Yeah, you got me on that one.
That was fucking beautiful.
Oh my God. We got some new people in the house. What's up? We got Farm 420. We got Stillbird in the house. Bingo, hello. I don't think I said hi to you earlier. Keeper of the Strains.
Uh-oh, it's dab time. Bingo's chilling.
Oh, Bingo's chilling. Is it Bong Rip?
Bong
Mother
Rip.
Lover? Speaking of which, I said hi to D420 the other day. We chatted for a few minutes on it. We were just chatting. We didn't get to actually hang out on here yet. No Wi-Fi up there in that weird ass place he's at.
That excavator of his, no Wi-Fi in the old rig.
Yeah, no Wi-Fi up there in that. Oh, what are y'all gonna smoke on? Who's puffing and what are y'all puffing on in chat? Go ahead, guys.
Yeah, Sammy, what you got?
The Mandarin cookies, since she said orange. Oh, but when I joined, it only gave me one option. Join with video or join without video. And so I clicked with video, which obviously didn't have a picture of my dog when I joined, is the only difference.
Okay, and then your audio is just instantly synced up. You're just in it to win it.
I think,
All
it's because I've joined before, though.
something like that, yeah. And you'll probably have Zoom down.
Okay, but mine always asks me that. So what kind of phone?
I'm using the
And
app.
Is it Android?
I'm using the
I use-
Zoom
yeah.
app too.
I use the app when I join. So
So do you go to the app first and then paste the link? Or do you just hit the link and
I click the link and my phone takes me all the way through it to here.
Well, your phone is like awesome because a lot of other people's phones don't do, mine doesn't. And it's awkward when people join because I've had that issue before.
Oh yeah,
Galaxy S8 Plus, baby. Woo!
Oh, mine's a Galaxy.
I got the S21 and it's like, nah, you gotta pick it every time.
What I do with it? Oh, it's right here. Mine's a Galaxy Note 8. The one that's a laptop.
Yeah, I want the Note.
I'm gonna jump out of here, but it was good chatting with you guys.
You too, Mike.
Happy
Thanks
Saturday.
for coming in. Happy Saturday to you. And it was
much.
awesome
Thanks for
having you
chatting.
out. Have a beautiful day. We got Sister Golden Hair in here. Hello, Punch Breath. Oh, Punch Breath. You know, anything that says punch or anything that says breath, I think I'm a fan of because what did I have? Bubba's breath. I've had lemon breath. And then I had lemon punch. And I had, there was a tropical punch and there was another punch. Oh, I can't remember right now. Pineapple punch or something. It was punchy. Yeah, I like that shit.
I have a strain right now called Yoda's Breath.
Ooh, Yoda's breath.
Yeah, it's OG roadkill skunk crossed with meat breath.
I'll go for more orange.
Really? Who's that from?
808.
Okay, cool. Is that being run yet or still a seed?
No, I have so many right now that I only have such a tiny little space.
Yep.
Oh, by the way, y'all, so since our gardens are finally like starting to flower and do stuff and look good, and I'm finally happy looking at some of my plants, I'm gonna set up the live on our next live Wednesday. I'll be out in the garden. I was gonna do it today, but Tara woke up late today. Oops.
Me too.
Totally woke up late today.
I think we were all in sync today.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I don't know. Have y'all been feeling like a little weird off? You know, I don't know. Is it the weather? Is it just all the stuff? I
did sneak up at 5:30 this morning and do a quick little sulfur test spray. Now that we're okay, so I guess you're getting a rundown again. We're getting a short.
Okay, yeah. Let's hear the rundown, Drake.
Coming at you. I'm coming at you. Sit back. So here, BC, Okanagan, Canada, we're getting a lot of really horrible conditions for flowering cannabis in the end of flowering. Anytime after week 4, essentially, it turns to crap out here. And that's why most people light dep or give up or grow indoors or so on and so forth. I'm not doing any of that. Full term, big old plants, so like 7 feet at least for sure. And I did a lot of lollipopping this season. Tried to leave most of the fan leaves, so I wouldn't call it true lollipopping, but I got lazy and ended up removing more than I wanted to of the fan leaves. I did just a nice amount of nodes. And this is just because again, same thing for dealing with larvae. There's so much canopy that there's no light getting down there. Generally for outdoors, because the sun gets around the whole plant, you can leave most of it on there. So trimmed most of that up. And this is all again for more airflow. I want more airflow because end of the season we're getting really wet. We're getting like constant rains, really humid. We're getting frost that's coming in the mornings, and then I'll get up to 20 degrees in the afternoon. So it's crazy temperature. So you need to have a really solid root zone as well. But the whole point of what I'm getting to, and one of the reasons I woke up early, is because we know we're having these issues. PM guaranteed of whatever plants. It's just something that's around. We got morning glories all around, little like cover companion plants or whatever, and they're just little bastards. They won't quit. And those ones are notorious for hosting PM. And I'm pretty certain the PM that infects them is the same PM that can infect cannabis. I'm not positive, but it's just from what I've seen. I think so. Who knows? Where's Zentanol when you need them? And anyways, with that in mind, with the fact that we're going to get the rains and everything and all the fun stuff when the buds finally start to bulk, if they start to bulk, if you're lucky enough with the sun, we know there's going to be the potential for any sort of fungal or bacterial issues. So with that, we need to do something to mitigate it. Now, following these Jadam practices to a T and really getting into it and watching all these different videos and translating different languages and all that fun stuff, Young Sang Cho mentions through fruiting periods and flowering periods, you can still use sulfur. It's just you would only want to use it at a 1 to 1,000 ratio. And this is like, I can't remember how many times off the top of my head, less than the lowest amount you would ever use for PM specifically for mitigating that. But you have other tricks around it. So because you have your pistils and your buds that are very delicate now that it's changing and you don't want to piss it off and hit it with a high dilution, you cut back the sulfur like really drastically. I think to the note of like 5 times plus. And again, I'll get that information and bring it up if I remember the next time. But then we can increase our wetting agent a little bit. So I increased our wetting agent from 1 to 100 to 1 to 80. And then in doing so, it makes the sulfur itself more efficacious because it allows proper spread and it keeps salt, you do it at the right time. Essentially, again, this is why I wake up at 5:30 in the morning, because in my area from like 5:30 to 8 in the morning, it's always like 70+% humidity outside. So we can ensure that the leaf is going to stay coated in whatever you spray it with, insecticide, or in my case, we had this Jadam sulfur with our wetting agent and also our ginkgo herbal solution or a bracken herbal solution, which is just, again, insecticides as well. So up that early in the morning to test one area, because my plants have just started flowering now, and I've got one specifically that's quite a bit further along than everything else. We want to test to see that we don't damage our buds by spraying it. So I went out there, found a lower that I'm not going to be upset if it gets pooched. I whipped up our sulfur at 1 to 1,000, our 1 to 80 JWA, and the maybe 1 to 50 ginkgo JHS. Not positive on that one either. But anyways, went out there, sprayed that little bugger down, the 1 or 2 small branches thoroughly from bottom to top, let it set for around an hour, if not a little bit longer, because at the time it was out there, if the moisture and humidity, like if the humidity in the environment's that high and it's dark out, there's not really anything that's going to be, unless you have windstorms, removing the moisture very quickly. And that's what we want. We want set time, because as soon as the sulfur dries up, it essentially doesn't have anywhere near the efficiency or the effect you're looking for. So let it do that, and that's the game plan. And then if that works, then I know I can do it on the whole crop this coming next time my microbial solution is ready, because then I wake up first thing in one of these mornings, spray with the sulfur, let it sit, wait all day for it to dry up. Then in the evening, hit it with the microbial solution again. And that means I'll be able to get in 2 herbal solutions generally. And that allows for great pest mitigation, which we don't really have any. So I'm using, for the most part, lower amounts. Outdoors, I suppose I've seen some thrips that are around here. We know we get aphids like a son of a gun later in the season, and then I get them a bunch on roses first thing in the season. So it was good because we were able to do a bunch of tests on them with these different solutions and so on and so forth. But wake up early, do the little test, and because it was just a small test, I was able to go back to sleep, and then I slept in, and led me into the same boat. But that's a test and trial we're running right now. So then come Monday again or Tuesday, we'll be able to either do it on the whole garden or go, nope, the buds didn't like that. My little stigmas, everyone calls pistils, are upset, they're burnt, they're no good. We are no longer going to spray anything, and we're just going to have to find other means to mitigate it, like bringing out fans or doing something to help with airflow or throwing up some sort of crazy makeshift hoop house. So there's my short story, made very long this time, based on some of the trials we're doing.
So I'm going to knock on wood, because I haven't foliar sprayed my plants. We know that because I argued with our little friend about that, and you wanted to spray and I didn't want to. And I have not done any foliar spraying, and I have had a little bit of aphid problems. However, I've went over and just kind of done it with my hands and smushed them off there. and I'm not having any aphid problems. I let everything else around me grow wild. Like I have pollinators. I have like beneficials everywhere like crazy this year. I have literally let weeds, kochia weeds, get like 4 feet tall and just tromped them down. Like I'm literally letting things grow this year. Like, and I'm giving them to my chickens and I'll feed them, you know, which my chickens love. Okay. So chickens. Okay. If y'all are considering chickens, please let me give you some word of advice. You're not going to have beautiful flower beds. Okay. You will not want them in your cannabis areas. They
You will not get sun chokes.
Scratch. They will make, they will. Yeah, you will not have sun chokes. Chickens dig and scratch and tear the shit up out of things. That's why in most places you see, unfortunately, they're in places where they are in a hard, ugly caged area where they don't have a nice pen, where things are scratched up and the ground's nasty and bare. Well, what you need is you need a chicken tractor, and you need to move them around and have them in a cage to get them to move around in the areas that you want them to feed on. So, but if you want like animals to free range and those type of things, if you have 5 acres, okay, chickens probably aren't a problem. Okay. Like, but if you have a 1 little acre or a half acre and you want a nice flower bed, not going to happen. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I gotta remind myself, because people have 25 acres of farms and can let their, you know, chickens roam free and still have nice flower beds. Well, yeah, because they're out in the back 9, right? So there are those things, but most people in here, I'm talking to small growers, people that live in town. You guys are normally smaller people here in my chat.
We're duck people.
Ducks, I'm getting to the ducks, are much better, and geese are actually much better, except for my geese have been eating 1 plant in my garden. They're going after 1 plant in my garden.
What, like a cannabis plant or?
Yeah, they will go and nip at 1 plant, and they go up and watch me. And it's one of my plants that I started for New Year's. Remember, I started those New Year's plants,
Yeah.
and I finally decided to put it out. And I have used and abused this thing. Oh my gosh, this poor thing. This thing should be dead. Like I kept it in a 5-gallon bucket for like a long time.
The geese are just keeping up the trend.
So the geese go over and they're just like nipping at the ends, and they're just nipping at it, you know, but they're not taking the bud. They're just like this one, like the soft part of the ends, and they're just, and I was noticing part of my plants. I was like, God, something's eating my plants. And then I watched my goose go over there and just take a little bite of it. And they just like, they'll go along and they'll just try things. Like they don't really eat it. They just kind of pull along and peck things and try shit.
See, and the ducks are somewhat similar, but they're just a lot smaller.
Yeah.
Less habit, but they're more interested in insects. And like recently, for the first time ever, my male duck, I don't know why, Dabs, I go out and I look into the garden, and he's just in the middle of one of my like rows of beds, but like kind of sunken in. And then I'm like looking, I'm like, you look too low, like you're fat, you shouldn't be that in line. And then I kind of look at him like, oh, you made yourself like a little, like he just nestled himself in and just wiggled in there and like turned around and kicked some of the dirt up or something with his little beak, I guess, because they don't kick, he just all with his nose. So I looked in like my aisle, and there's like kind of a bunch of little like light, kind of like my medium, essentially, like my soil and stuff that was put. It was so light, and he did, you know, like he didn't get deep at all, but it was kind of just funny. And then like I have like birch sticks outlining everything, and like the one little birch piece near there, he's kind of like just cockeyed and over top of it, sitting awkwardly on it. They're just funny, but they're not disruptive for the most part. Geese, on the other hand, on a plus, not necessarily too disruptive either, but they are good guard animals. People don't come near my ducks, so.
Okay, so Greg's saying 2.5 kilogram per square meter. Dr. Bungie thinks in a few years it will be a reality. What is that? I don't know what that is, Greg. I'm totally lost.
What did you say? 2.5 kilos per square meter?
Yeah.
So from a 3x3, you'll be able to pull, 6 pounds or something like that. I'm
Oh,
not
that's
that
what he
conversion.
said.
Well, whatever a kilo, whatever pound is the kilo, it's like fucking 32 ounces or some shit.
Outside?
36.
Inside.
No, probably that would. If he said Bruce Bugabee.
Dr. Bugby.
Yeah. So that's Apogee, I believe, one of the guys that's either working with them or part of them, Apogee Lighting. So that would be for the efficacy and potential for LEDs, I'd imagine, or some form of maybe some other lighting.
Oh, okay.
What was it? I think there was some.
Greg, you just need to come on my show, dude. You have all this knowledge and you're throwing out all this knowledge and I can't keep up with you, man.
Come chat, yeah.
Come on, Greg. That link right up in there, you just click it.
That link right there, that one?
Right there, that link
funny,
right up
Tara.
there. Click.
You're a funny Tara.
Click, Greg. Click. It's easy.
Then click with use cell phone data, not Wi-Fi.
Yeah, we went in that over the video. We told you how to do it. Well, we'll go over it again if you need it. Hey, what's up, Stony Baker? How are you? You're awesome. So Greg says, be on the lookout for murder hornets. I don't know what murder hornets is. Look that
I'm on
up,
the
Greg.
lookout for any murderers.
Murder hornets. Okay.
I think that's the.
We have a lot of wasps this year, man. And we have oh my God, so many dragonflies. I love watching dragonflies are beasts. If y'all didn't know, dragonflies are beasts. They will take on a wasp in midair and boom.
And then unfortunately, I think these murder hornets, oh my goodness, what's the best way? It's probably not going to come up great. This is just more for Tara, but that's a regular bee in the hand, and then there's a murder hornet behind, the regular hornet.
Oh shit!
So they're decimating bee populations and things like that. They're coming.
They're like the size of your thumb.
Oh yeah, they're very, very large.
Okay, so where are we seeing those at?
Oh, they've made it to Vancouver Island, somewhere near, or not Vancouver Island, or somewhere near Vancouver, quite a few years ago, because the stories keep cycling through. It's not super prominent, but they're around. I'm not sure where they first came from, but they're the same thing. They're a lot more dangerous to us as well. Like if you say came across a hive, for lack of, because I have zero understanding of these things for the most part. So again, maybe someone like Sentinel or 710 can come educate us. But yeah, for the most part, if you came across a hive of them and they were angry and chased you down, I don't think it's too many stings to put you out. Again, this could just be Facebook shenanigan FUD, but we all know that.
Well, definitely someone that would be allergic to it would obviously.
Oh, that's game over for sure. But I think it's pretty deadly for us. But I'm not going to put much effort into looking into it.
It's from Asia, Bingo says. Okay,
there we go. That sounds right. Yeah.
Okay.
Dragonflies, by the way, are the most efficient hunters on the planet. They get 95% of their kills that they go after.
95%.
Maybe that's why Dragonfly chose their name.
Killers, just hidden killers, are they? They're the peaceful killers, right?
Secret killers. I've seen it. That's funny. Asian giant hornet. Wow, that's crazy. Whatcom County, a little north of Bellingham? Oh shit, Greg. Damn, that's scary. Okay. Wow. Well, that's not far from me. I mean, that's only 5 hours, 6 hours. The crow flies, it's only 4 if I could go over the mountains the way I would like to go.
Don't be alarmed. But as the murder hornet flies, it's only 3.5.
Oh, shit. Damn it. Don't tell me that shit, Drake. You guys are hilarious. Love it.
But they are a serious thing. Not making light. They're a problem potentially.
Well, it's good to know that. Oh, also, I wanted to tell you guys. So that we were talking about something on the last show. Someone come by on the last show and said that they have heard that people were freezing autoflowers to or clones to get them to lie stagnant for periods of time. Okay, so I've done a little bit of research. I talked to a couple of people. From what I'm understanding is it's for breeding purposes only. and it's not freezing them. It's putting cuttings of them in a refrigerated area. And I spoke with 710 on this. I've also spoke with another guy who breeds autoflowers, and I've done a little bit of the research that I can't say. And so what they've done is they put a cutting of this autoflower before they flower it out into the refrigerator, and they flower it out really quick, just long enough to know if that's something they want to breed with. And then they pull that clone out and they breed with it, and they're able to produce autoflowers. It's only for like the seed hunting thing. That's all that they're doing with this. And this is all I'm understanding. So I wanted to bring that up because they asked on our last show, Drake. So I wanted to make sure we tie on those loose ends. Go ahead, Drake.
I love it. And just to reiterate, the little trick for them is actually are cutting a clone off an auto, throwing it into a refrigerator to slow down its metabolic process so that it is technically hindered in time from the other plant, which again, I'm not saying that I am condoning that this is how it works, but this is just what we're saying. So they do that, put it in the fridge so it slows down, have the other plant in a regular environment so it gets to take off. Then they're able to use their judgment because they've grown so many plants. Like they probably won't get to flower the whole plant while still having that clone, right? But you get to slow it down a couple weeks, and you get to, with autoflowers, a couple or a few weeks is a lot. So you can really see the vigor and start to get that profile and see the different characteristics. So that's really interesting because as we all, think about and theorize and hear different things with autos, they're tough to work with. But that's not, like you said, that's not cloning autos to get any sort of more yield or any of that stuff. It's detrimental in the most part to do almost anything to, well, I shouldn't say that, sorry, but it's generally you want to do less than more with them. They don't like stress. But as the genetic pool increases and we get more breeders with high integrity working at it, that's gonna change. And we'll get like these half autos. Like there's already things out there, like when you're initially working from a photo to an auto and bring them together, you're gonna get everything in between too. So there's gonna be certain plants that say kick at 14 hours of light or 15 hours of light, 16 hours. They're just different time periods is when they trigger. So for like an environment like I was describing earlier here, where we have those issues that are always coming late September, early October and through, we could have something that flowers early. What do we got there?
One thing I don't know is if they're putting it under light or no light. That's the thing I didn't ask. So don't ask me that question. I don't
And
know.
that's a great, that we'll have to find out.
I don't know. I didn't ask if you had to have light or anything. I was just
I'd assume so. Just I'm
oh, by the way, the Autoflower show has changed to Wednesdays. That's and not on Sundays anymore. They're on Wednesdays. And we might be broadcasting them on here. Or we might, no, change to Wednesdays, or no, change to today's. Today. Are they on today or Wednesday?
So that I'm actually not certain about because
they're on the same time that we go, same day that we go, but at 5 o'clock. I want to say, oh my God, I get my days mixed up now. I guess it's time for another dab while we look.
Always time for another dab.
I'll let Drake look. Drake can look and I'm taking a dab. I'm gonna put him on the spot.
Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific time.
Yes, thank you.
Next class is
Wednesday.
Next coming one.
Next Wednesday. So after our show next Wednesday, you can all hang out at the Autoflower Cup later on that day. I'm gonna go in on another dab after I clean my banger because I forgot. Yes, I did. Jess and Bean, how are you? Welcome. Wild Enterprise, how are you? Gosh, you guys are coming in. Awesome. Stony Baker says he's working on that Super Lemon Haze project. Says it's coming along good. I'm interested in that one, Stony Baker. You know it. And by the way, it's true. Like, so we do need to be I don't mean to make light of that wasp thing, Greg. We do need to be on the lookout for wasps, and we do need to take care of that shit, because when bugs go in places that they're not supposed to be, they can decimate things. That's why it's super important, as we as nature people need to respect that, and we need to be aware of that, and we need to also respect of bringing other things into our area and overwhelming our natural environments as well. I'm gonna take a dab. Go ahead, Drake.
I'm on the same boat. I'll jump into that, but yeah, I completely agree with the sentiment there, and that's why I made my little disclaimer. Love making light of things, but
So Greg says in the future, we're going to be using triploids like we see with hops crops in Yakima Valley. And the triploids is things that can't produce again, like a fish. Is it like a triploid fish? Is that kind of how I can explain it?
when I was speaking about,
We're going to have 710 on here.
well, yeah, and I like to defer to
710, where are you? Hit him up. His
Uh,
that's on here.
homozygous stock is what you want to work down to. So essentially, you're gonna be able to get to a point where you have a uniform crop that won't accept pollen. That can be done multiple different ways, from working with male single grains of pollen to working with females and in different manners, from selfing a plant, saving that original pollen, working down from the kids, the grandkids and the great grandkids, and then just by doing so, it works itself into a more like this coming from Breeder Steve, works itself into about a 50-50 or some ratios around there of plants that even if you paint the stigmas, the hairs with pollen, they just won't accept it. And yeah, it's going to be like if you're an investor in a large LP and they're growing outdoors in greenhouses, and you're hearing about how easy it is to ruin a whole crop by getting pollinated. Of course, you're not gonna invest unless you get the company, the growers to sign off, the company to say, yeah, we're gonna use flower that can't be pollinated.
We're crazy to not think that this is not just another ag crop. This just because they want to use it and put all these other different rules and regulations and tax it bigger and kill all real farmers. It's another agriculture crop. And what have the agriculture people done is they've genetically modified things so you can't have them anymore. You don't get, as we as free people don't get to have these heirloom varieties or things anymore. They get rid of them. Wasn't it like we've had like 200 types of apple trees and we're down to like, or was it 2000? I don't know. Now I can't remember. Like my numbers are confused. I'm not good with numbers. But anyways, there was like a lot of apple crops, like a lot of apple trees, lots, hundreds. And now like there's hardly any. Like it's just like we know that that's what they're doing. And so it's really important that we protect, our crops right now. We protect cultivars right now. You guys out there that are doing the breeding, it's so important that you breed for what you're really looking for, not just slapping this to that and watering everything else down, because when this pollen gets loose out there, it's going to be ugly.
And see, Greg, this is why we need you to hop on, because then you can direct everything we're saying, because again, you're quite knowledgeable from what's coming on. I know that for sure. Hop on here, the little button up in that corner. But no, just to touch on what he was saying, because he said it's just like a mule, and that's a great representation. Triploidy plants have 3 sets of chromosomes, but they have many desirable characteristics, including greater vigor, broad, thick, dark leaves, and larger flowers or fruit, which result in higher yield or higher harvest index. So of course, that's what you're going to want to be working with. In general, right? Just plants with higher vigor and anything that's got true breeding behind it is going to be led in that direction, generally for the most part overall. And then what we were talking about was slightly a different point, but same thing with commercial farming. That's going to be just all too much of a reality. And it's not like a big scary thing necessarily, because in that same sense, if they can and maybe even something that's done with like male pollen and through different routes to have a high level of certainty, but if they've got these plants that are unwilling to accept or produce pollen, well, now we're not going to have to worry about Billy Bob Joe's LP of 10 kilometers that's, a mile or 2 away from your little home craft grow that you've been growing out for 20 years, that they just moved in last season, don't know what they're doing, and have these plants that are just, should go and herm and going crazy, and they pollinate themselves in the whole valley, and just issues that we have actually seen quite a bit of. It's generally a lot more at the hands of craft and small growers, unfortunately, that just are getting into the game. And around here, it's a pretty easy thing to get into, and they get a big property and get something that thinks good, and all of a sudden there's all sorts of issues. And we know that it's not always likely, but that stuff travels all over the place, and it doesn't take much to screw you around. So that's another reality of the commercial farming. But yeah, that was a run triplo.
Drake, Octos asked us if we've ever checked the EC of our teas or Jadam feeds.
Yeah, let's see if I can just pull up in my calendar. I think the last was a little low. Let's find out here. I'm using the Blue Lab and it based off 500.
Might be time for a microdose today, as it was yesterday, looking for rocks. It's amazing how you can see beautiful purity rocks when you microdose. I think it helps my eyesight, by the way. Cheers, y'all. Thanks for for hanging out today. I'm trying to talk too fast. Slow down, talk slow. You know what? I don't even want to go into this politics that's going on in chat right now. I'm not like ready to be prepared to even like speak on, I think maybe what's going on. I don't know.
I'm just trying to find out where I wrote down the EC.
And then Stony says, good. I PPM my teas and I'm wondering I'm underfeeding. I go 300 ppms.
That sounds, what meter are you using? What's it based off of? But that sounds low. If you're in veg, maybe not so much, or if you're talking like young plants, I think like even like seedlings and pretty small plants, once you get going, can get up to like 200 range without too many issues, then start stacking up. Flowering, your plants are usually, if we're talking ppms again, 1,000 plus, up to things like the Congo that are taking over 2,000, no problem. EC wise, I think based off my meter, the 500 and the Blue Lab specifically, 0.1 is 50 ppm, pretty sure. So then 1.2 or 1.3, I think was the EC based off of our strongest feeding at the end of the veg cycle, just strictly before transition. And that's we've got our microbial solution in there. We've got our different JLFs in there, soft water. In the JMS, there's sea salt as well, and those read about a 1.7 EC when they're made, but we're only using 2.5 gallons per 50 gallon. But yeah, it's pretty low overall. Ish, sort of, kind of, but I'll find the exact number because it's going to bother me. Might not do it before the show ends, but I'll find it.
Yeah, somebody's getting a DM with some numbers.
So Greg says, talking to Skunk Bam Sam, he said the problem with the triploid skunk number 1 was the white seed, like we see in seedless watermelons. Okay, so I've seen those white seeds before, and that would be a huge problem because anything that would have even any shell or anything in it will mess up a hash, and y'all know will mess up a smoke.
We spoke about this on the back end because it's not.
Yeah,
true,
we already did talk about this.
True seedless. It's still forming a seed. Whereas when you get plants that are actually homozygous in that sense that we were talking prior, to the point where they are just unable to accept or produce pollen, there wasn't the formation of the pre-seed at all. There wasn't those really like unformed initial seeds. But we'll have to talk with breeder Steve again and get.
Oh yeah, that's what I should. I should
get Greg McAllister on so
hey,
we can
Greg.
all chat. Yeah, that would be
Greg.
great.
If I get breeder Steve on, will you come on, Greg? I want a yes in that chat. Looking for a yes. Okay, so
I'll come harass you on Facebook.
Greg also says, Greg says, if you're not growing the freak show, you should give it a try in 2021. I want that freak show, dude. I want that freak show as just a house plant. Like I just
so like we just talked about that.
Want it.
yesterday in the NW47 Discord, chock full of breeders. And I believe it was Minds I was talking about, or someone, sorry, I shouldn't say who, but just because I'm not positive who it was. But anyways, they're saying just how like heady and psychedelic the stone is on it. Apparently,
Really?
it's like, yeah. So Greg, is that something that you found as well? Is it a very like heady psychedelic kind of, one of those more?
He said no.
No.
He said no to me. He's
Oh,
not doing that.
We'll get you. We'll you fishing away.
I can accept a no once. No, I'm just teasing.
If we get Dave Watson on, will you come as well?
I'm just teasing.
If the answer is yes, can you please bring Dave?
He's retired like Sam. Well,
that's perfect.
Well, so maybe we should get Sam on. Okay, if we get Sam on, we got to work on Sam. Okay.
No, but it's a trick. It's a trick question.
Sam Head says, "Is freak show all show, no gas? So as we know, high." Yeah, that's what we want to know, Greg. How's the high on the freak show? Because I have no idea what the high is like. Like, I don't know. Like, I thought it was just like a cool looking plant, and that's kind of why people kept it. And like that was it. I didn't know it had like this amazing flowering ability or anything like that. Or does it produce hash? Like, is it a hash plant? Oh, it's so beautiful. It is a beautiful, beautiful plant. Your males don't live outdoors. Yeah, I'm glad your males don't live outdoors. Males should not live outdoors. In fact, you all saw the male. I had a coal in my garden. Holy shit, did I almost mess up this year. That thing was big. Oh my God. I had even like scrubbed that stupid thing out. God, I was mad that I missed that male. Dab says, I'm retired from PO, now growing in my 60s. Awesome, Dab. You go, man. Yeah. The Grow Team. Team Grow. I think this should be Team Grow. Let's do Team Grow.
1.2, Tom. 1.2. That was the EC based off the 500 scale on the Blue Lab. And that was our third transitional feeding. I had, again, it was 50 gallons of water in a 55-gallon drum. We had 1 to 20 JMS, 1 to 40 grass clipping JLF, 1 to 100 fish JLF, 1 to 300 rock dust JLF, 1 to 300 bone, 1 to 300 fish bone, 1 to 500 kelp, and 1 to 500 crab meal. So it was pretty stacked, and we're working in numbers that are a lot higher than conventional levels. Generally, on some contexts, like the JMS, generally it's run at 1 to 100, 1 to 20 is kind of like race car. But anyways, that was the EC, so still rather low overall for that like heavy hitting, as far as if you were looking at it like in a standard salts mentality. But we're just kind of keeping some of those parameters just to see the difference through the feeds and have that know-how.
There's a Mr. Dave Watson in chat says, would you like me to join? Sure, anybody can join. Would love anybody to join.
That's hilarious. That's too funny.
Sure.
That was quick. That was quick. Okay, it's dab time.
So he says that it's the freak show is a real variable out. 10 out of seeds, you get 10 different terpene blends and sizes. So, okay, well, that would suck for me as a small grower to
Who else would it have been?
I'll have to go in with somebody on freak show, and we'll all have to grow one, and then we'll all have to have that cultivar, and I'll test it out. Let's do it. Anybody in Washington want to do it? Let's do it. Or I need to just find somebody that's already grown out the terpene that I want and just buy it from you. That would be really cool. Rita Fang has multi-spectrum LED 200.
My man, Rita Fang is the plug for the sales rep from
Spectrum LED 200 watt with Bluetooth control for $198.70, including shipping right there, y'all. You heard the hot tip of the day. That's the deal if you're buying lights. Drake, go ahead, talk about
Yeah.
that.
I could even go on a limb and say they're most likely Mijou lights, that she did, or King Bright, or one of those more popular ones. These are very, very similar to some of the high end, the Bugatti, the Ferrari, the Gucci lights that are out there for a couple grand a piece. They are fantastic lights, not knocking any of them. If you got some bank and you want to ball out, go for it. And they even got a little bit more science behind the testing and the making. But seriously, these other lights, in which I'm running both. I'm very lucky too. Thanks, Tara, for and big shout out to Alias. Awesome killer light. Fucking just crushing it. But then I've also got the Mijou 240 watt LM301B UV IR far reds. I used Rita Fang as a supplier. Same thing, relatively same price as mentioned there. I believe I got 5 of these fixtures for $1,200 and some dollars from like shipped to my door, Canadian. So that's again like just shy of $1,000 or right around $1,000 American for 5 lights, 240 watts a piece, and these are solid fixtures. And these ones were all had a protection. You could put them in veg and you can spray, and you're not spraying the diode. So you're gonna have a little bit less efficacy just because of the having to pierce through one extra layer. But at the same page, you're free to not worry about them as much, and they're easy to clean. Yeah, and so solid. But Rita Fang is great, and it's just you can work with her and she'll get things your way. Bingo Watson.
Exactly. That's exactly. Bong rip.
Yeah, bong rip.
I'm having some more of the orange today. Oh, I forgot to fill up my torch. Let's see if I can. Oh, I have enough to get through. Don't you hate that when you go for a dab and you don't have enough torch?
Gotta have the Tane right nearby.
I know, I got it right there. Oh, I forgot I was gonna smoke my hookah today on the live. My God, I just was not set up today. Okay, that would be cool to have my hookah in the garden and smoke in the garden the next sesh with y'all next Wednesday. I'll be in the garden with my hookah set up in front of one of my plants. How's that? Oh, I think that would be a really cool plan. I can do that on a Wednesday. I just can't wake up late. Cheers, y'all. Hope you're having an awesome, happy, high Saturday out there. I sure the hell am. Look at Drake. Drake's going in strong. Boom! Hot nebby. Cheers, you all out there. Thanks for joining us today. And I think somebody said, what do you want to know, Drake? What do you want to know? Well, just tell you, Drake. Oh, that's okay, Sammy. No problem. We love you, Sammy. It's all good. You don't have to hang out with us all the time. We love you, Sam. Sammy says he's sorry. He had a phone call. He had to go. Claude says he's got some rotting mango smelling Chernobyl. Oh, wow. I don't know about that one. I'd like the lime one.
Sign me up.
Yeah, like Drake, you guys like that rotten smell stuff. I don't know what that shit is.
Last time we had like a nice Hindu and again, I don't know if it was a really solid representation because I have no idea where it came from or who. It was more just a product that came to our possession. But my goodness, just the rotting, acrid fruit that came from it was fantastic. It was foul, but just a sweetness to it. So it was like, I don't know. It's kind of like a kombucha, right? Like, or something like that, where it's like, you could tell like it was just like rotting and just this kind of this wild, complex overall profile. But then it just had this like overall sweetness to it. So you're kind of like, you know what? I trust it. Even though it's just raunchy and horrible, I trust it. Yeah, it was unique. So I'm all about those. And you just don't see them as much. I think lots of times it just correlates to lots of those lines aren't as heavy of hitters. And I think a lot harder to preserve and actually get the essence of the plant because we got a lot more of those monoterps. And this is just a guess and just spitballing. So then if your rooms aren't locked in, specifically your drying environment, it doesn't matter how good you grow it, you end up with your hay and you don't really get a representation. And then you just get mad at the cultivar because you can't work with it properly. And that's, you know, there's different ones where it's like, it doesn't matter where you grow it, you throw it into a frickin' floating cloth dry rack in regular 30% environment and 75 degrees, and it still holds, like Violator. There we go. Or Nukin. Those ones, like it's hard to make those plants not reek because they almost smell from the stem rub, like they represent themselves. So it's just, you know, those really heavy dominant terpenes, and maybe even different things like the esters and stuff that we're even less familiar with that just hold on. But yeah, I think the again, somehow making it long like I usually do, we don't see as much of those because they don't have the biggest punch all the time. I'm not saying that's not true, because there's some now that are getting worked really well, that are fantastic. But then also hard to keep the profile, you know, if you're not able to have a, you know, commercial, well, not even commercial, because that's kind of a misnomer in our industry, but a lab grade drying facility, something that your parameters are very tight, you're going to have a bad time.
I am going to screen share Mr. McCormick's Instagram page. I think Greg would like a shout out here. As soon as I can get on the page here, I'm trying to get to the page. I have too many windows open. Here we go. Greg, how far down is that Northern Lights? Is that Northern Lights right in here? There's Northern Lights on here for Greg. I just don't know how far down.
For anyone that doesn't know too, Todd McCormick, longtime activist, patient, been through the ringer, the prison, all of it. There's like look into him. He's been doing a lot, and he's been with the you know, in the thick of the industry for a long time. He's very well educated, and he now has the Ag Seed Co. that's been running for over a season, I believe. A ton of old school gear. I believe Tara's showing some of Greg's gear.
Yeah, the Northern Lights.
Yeah. And then again, for anyone that doesn't know, I don't know how much he wants to be outed here, but Greg McAllister is an OG. There's a reason we're bugging him so much to come on. There's different platforms. Again, I don't want to oust too much, but you know, like definitely like do your best, look around. And if anything, you can follow along and just see some of the stuff that's being input by these legends. In a sense, there's so much valuable information there, and there's a lot of different opinions and a lot of different people that have conflicting ideas. But when you've got two people that have been doing something for their life for longer than some of us have been alive, you know, even if they have conflicting ideas and opinions, you'll probably be able to get something really beneficial out of both of them. If you don't, you know, just don't be biased. Just, you know, I'm not saying take everything with a grain of salt, because lots of this information is just much more valuable than that. But just, you know,
there we go. There's the Northern Lights 5.
And look at how beautiful it is.
Here, let me zoom in on it better. Let's do this. Let me get that other way. Oh wait, cancel. Yeah,
a little bit bigger of an image for everyone to view. Yeah, some beautiful stuff there. And then I know we have our good buddy that's been working with some of the Skunk One, so that's really exciting. Want to see some of that stuff pop up. There's lots of people that are playing with it now, so many good things will come from that.
And when I'm doing this strike, I can't read chat, so
well, let's see what's going on.
Catch up with that if I'm missing anything.
Might just be.
Okay, so I'm going to zoom in on this pic so you're going to get a really nice shot of this here. Give me just a minute. There we go. Look at this. Isn't that beautiful?
Oh, Cheddar Bob, I'm not sure. I'll try and look into that more. That's a good question. Cheddar Bob asks, where can we source the cordyceps that are responsible for the zombie ants? So that's mummifying the ants, I believe, taken over. And I think this is kind of similar with some of the work that Paul Stamets recently was talking about with the fungi that are taking over different insects, and not taken over every insect in the area, but specific to certain ones. It was something that they found was inoculating in termites, and now they've tried it in adulterated to work with other specific insects and had very good success with it. And it's able to essentially, in real life, an ant gets infected with this fungi. The guard ants notice that it's infected. The ants go and they take this ant away, way far away from the colony. They cut its head off and kill it, and then they commit suicide and kill themselves, because that's how, you know, ritualistic they are, because they don't want to infect their colonies. When you add this other fungus, or this other compound, it makes it so that they don't identify that and they actually spread it. So they bring it back into the colony, spread it to the queen, and it kills everything off. So I would imagine something similar along those lines, but it's kind of like a next level of natural insecticides, I guess could be a way to say it, probably misnomer. But yeah, you'll be able to mitigate pests with different fungi. But again, as we mentioned earlier, we're gonna have to be really careful with everything. And there's I know Paul, like the patents just expired. That's why he's talking about stuff. So it's like this stuff there's a lot of research into it, and it's been over the years. So I'm excited to see what comes around.
So someone said that to identify that wasp earlier, do they have small ones? Like, would they have baby ones, or are they all just that big? Like I'm guessing like wasps kind of come out of the nest kind of that big, right? They don't really have a little one and they get into bigger ones, right? I don't know.
For a wasp?
Yeah, is it that wasp? What's that hornet? Oh, no, the hornet that we're looking out for.
Oh,
Sorry.
the murder hornet. Okay, I mean, they'll have some sort of a nest or a place, and then they'll have like a pupae.
What does their nest look like? I didn't even look at the nest. They said they found a nest in Bellingham. Up in Bellingham. I should Google
like
that.
the paper machete looking nest. Like say,
they're one of those kind.
a bald-faced hornet specifically. What a lot of people just call a hornet is the black and white ones that have like a black and white face. They look pretty mean. They can bite and sting. They're pretty large in your hand. They have the paper machete style nests, and that may be the same with the murder hornets. There's specific ones that also go into the ground and do other stuff. But since someone in chat mentioned they have a nest wherever you just said, I can't remember. There's a good chance that they have those kind of big, and like if it's a big hornet, like you never know, it could be a huge kind of paper mache looking thing, and it usually has one hole that's pretty big, a spherical hole right at the bottom. It's kind of shaped like an egg, and then they go in there and they have their whole inner workings, which I've never really ripped open and seen. They have pupae in there, which or again, I'm maybe misnomer because I'm not best with identification of the terms, but I'm trying. But they've got their different babies in there that are in these little areas. They grow and feed off of whatever they are provided, and then by the time they hatch, they're quite large, I believe. I don't know how many, let's for better reference, molts or changes they go through. That's gonna piss me off. I like the word that they usually use, but anyways, yeah, I'm not sure how much bigger they get from that size, but I don't think they emerge full size. But again, we'll talk with someone that understands better. So it would be neat if something could work for this. I just don't know if that's been something that's even been looked at. And then it would be concerning because you'd imagine if something happened and it went rogue, it could potentially infect just the regular bees. If it's something that's already on some sort of strain of bee, for again lack of better terms, genus of bee. But yeah, who knows? Maybe that'll come out. Maybe Paul and his team or some others that are actually doing the work behind it will come out with something to help with that.
I'm trying to get it lined up. So there's like there's some pictures here I was going to share with you.
Yeah, and then there's obviously a lot of talk going on in chat, and yeah, the people always seem to get themselves into interesting conversations and situations. I know with what everyone's talking about in chat specifically, there's definitely a couple sides to everything that's going on, but I try to avoid most of that.
Okay,
and
so
look at the genetics lots of the time over the.
How long is that?
Over the other issues. Oh, that looks like what, 10 centimeters?
Centimeters. Okay.
What's that? 9? Yeah. Oh, never mind. Sorry, that was a bad gauge.
So.
More like.
Ew, look at the jaws on that thing.
Yeah, and same thing. Like most of them can bite and sting when we're talking hornets.
Those are big. Not good. I don't like them. Okay, we need to get them out of our area. Okay, there you go. That was my Google search. That's what I found for the story in Washington. Well, if none of you want to jump on and hang out and have the last little dab with us, I think we're going to dab one out and say goodbye to you and get on our merry way. We all have so much work to do in our gardens today. I think we've kept y'all long enough. I love hanging out with y'all. If you want to hang out for a little bit after the show, or maybe you don't want to go live with us, I'll hang out for a few minutes. We can take a couple dabs after the show. I always do that. I sit here and finish my coffee, straighten up my desk, do what I need to do right here. And if you'd like to come on and just hang out with us after the show, you're welcome to. So as soon as we go off air and you click that little button up there, the link on the top there that's pinned, you can join and we'll be off air. Nothing's recorded. You can also leave your camera off. It's totally up to you. But we love to meet you. So just leaving that open to you. Drake, any final words for the day? It's been awesome hanging out with you. I love that hat, by the way. We look like we planned kind of this weird ass matching thing, which we did not. I woke up late. That was weird. We match.
No, I'm excited to get back into it. Got lots going on. I'll be trimming away soon. I'll be flipping the plants I put into the beds in the flower room soon, in the next week or so, probably. Yeah, there's a ton. We got the outdoor plants are just starting to flower, as I mentioned. We're doing those trials. There's a ton of things going on, so I'm very excited about that and to update and see how it goes. Do the garden view stream coming up Wednesday, so that'll be fun. And for everyone that tuned in, we really appreciate it. And everyone and anyone. We obviously appreciate people with decades of experience and you know great knowledge and inputs, but we also appreciate just as much the individuals that are just passionate and trying to learn about it, and you know patients that are just trying to figure things out, or maybe someone that's just been directed over here and just wants to learn a couple things or grow your own, or just figure out a few ways to do things a little bit more sustainably, even if it doesn't pertain to the cannabis specifically. Just having a good time. And just coming in and hanging out, right? Like there's, you know, we appreciate individuals. If you don't even have to grow or smoke or anything, if you just somehow stumbled upon this and you just like to hang out because the time's been crazy and it's nice to converse with people in chat and, you know, even just listen to other people, you know, talk.
You know, that's very well. I love what you say about that. Even if you aren't a grower, even if you know you're not growing right now, or you're interested in growing, maybe you have questions about growing. You know, never even thought it. Maybe you have questions about smoking. Maybe you've never even smoked cannabis before and you have a question. I would love to talk to you because believe me, I didn't start till I was 42. And
exactly right.
Yeah. So I would have loved to talk to more people before I got stoned rather than my husband. I only had my husband to talk to, so it was really weird.
Well, yeah, I mean, diversity is the key to life in a sense, and that kind of goes on a lot of scales.
And there's a lot of cancer patients out there. There's a lot of epileptic patients out there. There's a lot of MS patients out there. There's a lot of people,
a lot of patients out there.
Just stuff just like that, PTSD, those type of symptoms, anything with those type of symptoms, cannabis has been known to help. Not guaranteed to help all, but has been known to help. So why not open that door to someone that doesn't ever smoke cannabis? Why not talk to that person that you think that might, you know, probably doesn't smoke cannabis? Open that door. That's why I like CBD. CBD opens that door for me. By the way, you can buy this at my friend's thing, Instagram, Farmex. Check them out. Cheapest CD around. Drake, you're muted. I saw one more thing in chat I wanted to hit on. There was something. Go ahead, Drake.
Fat Dog CBD is Eric's site.
Yes, Fat Dog CBD.
Oregon. Yeah, they're matching the Future 4200. If you don't follow them already, he posted 100 grams of CBD in a kilo of coconut oil. So they're talking, I believe that's 1 million milligrams. Again, math is always evades me. But yeah, and for $100. So they're getting really affordable isolate out there, which they should be, because isolate is affordable. It's very cheap in the most part to make. It can help people. It's not necessarily the beautiful full spectrum medicine we all so desirely like and need, but it's great. It works for certain people. And when that's all you're allowed to work with, and that's all you're poor little grandmother who's just, only going to listen to what the news says that she can take is willing to use, well, then you'll be pretty happy she can have access to it, or, any situation. So.
Okay, so I don't know if Evil Deadly Fart coming in wants to be live or if they're going in after the show.
I'm going to go ahead and say right now, just as we're closing out, Evil Deadly Fart, we're bringing you in after the live closes to
Okay.
have a couple bong rips with you. I got to get mosey in pretty quick.
Yeah, Drake's got to get off here. We were closing down the show. I don't want to interrupt.
We're
this.
famous for the long
710
endings. So.
710 just jumped in our chat too. He better jump in here after our live and hang out because we got questions for you. If you want to jump in here after our show, we'll hang out with you for a bit. Thanks, guys. Love you all. And we will be back in on Wednesday. I'll be back in my garden. I'm going to be in my garden Wednesday live. You'll be there hanging out with me. We'll be session. As always, peace and love. Go spread that love out there and go grow. Have a fantastic day. Have a fantastic Saturday and whatever day you watch this, actually, because a lot of people watch this on every day, huh?
If you're in the future, have a great Sunday. And if you're in the past, have a great Friday.
Peace out.
Well, crazy.
Bye, y'all.
Peace and love.